Breaking news, after Shakur Stevenson manager Jay Prince came out stating that Devin Haney overbid himself, or he's going to overbid himself, Devin Haney posted on Twitter, quote, "Stop using my name for clout." Now, even though Devin didn't put a name on it, you could tell he responded to Shakur for calling him out. However, not doing whatever it takes behind closed doors in order to make the fight come to fruition. Well, Shakur responded to Devin Haney, where he said, quote, "Nah, I'm not gonna take 25%. But you know that already, lil' bruh. Be realistic." So apparently Shakur is responding to activating his mandatory, where he's basically saying he's not gonna accept 25% as the mandatory in order to fight the undisputed champion. Shakur feels he's worth more than 25%. Which, if that's the case, he needs to have a conversation with the WBC, not Devin Haney. I mean, Devin Haney hasn't said anything about a split. Additionally, we don't even know what the split is, since Shakur has not activated his mandatory position yet. We won't know what the split is until Shakur does so, until he activates the mandatory position. We could only assume at the moment in time. So I'm not sure if Shakur is assuming or if he's previewed to some inside information. But one thing for sure and two things for certain, Shakur made it clear he's turning down the Devin Haney fight if he gets 25%. Since he said, quote, "I'm not gonna take 25%. But you knew that already, lil' bruh." End of the quote. So the $1 million question, what does Shakur want? What's the percentage that Shakur wants? Because Shakur told Devin Haney sign the contract, just to find out there is no contract to sign. He also said he's going to activate his mandatory position, but he didn't. Then they said that Devin outbid himself, even though they never went that far in negotiations in order to do that. They were never presented with an offer, and now Shakur today is saying he's not going to accept 25%. Meaning, he wants more money, he wants a bigger percentage, while at the same time, he does not want to activate his mandatory position in order to leverage more money from ESPN and Top Rank, due to the risk of losing the fight to purse bid. So that's the best way to negotiate the money for Shakur, if he wants more money to fight Devin Haney for the undisputed opportunity. Now, all of that aside, Shakur's problem with activating the mandatory position against Devin Haney is that he doesn't like the split, or he's assuming he's going to get a bad split. However, that's not how it works. The split is not a set number for everyone. The split varies depending on what you bring to the table. For example, Shakur didn't have a problem activating his mandatory when he fought Jamal Herring. And do you guys know what the purse split was? It was not 75 to 25% in favor of the champion Jamal Herring at the time. Absolutely not. In fact, as you guys see on the screen above, it was 63 to 37 in favor of Shakur. That's right. Jamal Herring didn't get the 63% split, despite the fact he was the champion. But instead, the mandatory, the challenger Shakur, got the 63% split. The reason why is because the purse split, like I said before, is not a set number for the champion and the mandatory, but instead is a ratio that's added up by adding and averaging the last 3 paydays, the last 3 salaries of each fighter. Then they do the ratio of that to determine the purse split. For example, if Devin Haney was paid for his last 3 fights $15 million total, while Shakur, on the other hand, he was paid for his last 3 fights $5 million total. Well, when you combine both fighters' salaries, that's a total of $20 million. That's when you do Shakur last 3 paydays of $5 million divided by that 20, you get 25%. Now, if you take Devin Haney $15 million and divide that by that $20 million, you will get 75%. So the ratio for that purse split is going to end up being 75 to 25 in favor of Devin Haney. However, if Shakur made $10 million his last 3 fights, then we have to adjust the numbers in order to get the ratio. This time is going to be $10 million Shakur's salary divided by $25 million, the total. You're going to end up with 40% this time instead of 25. So the ratio is going to end up being 60 to 40 in favor of Devin Haney, not 75 to 25, which 60-40% split is a great purse split if you ask me for Shakur Stevenson. So again, it all depends on how much Shakur has been getting paid compared to Devin Haney. That's how they calculate the ratio for the purse split. It's not a set number. It's based on your worth. It's not Devin Haney's problem that he's worth more than Shakur at the moment in time. That's not Devin Haney's fault that Devin is the A-side over Shakur. But again, in our reality, we don't even know what the purse split is until Shakur activates the mandatory. Till then, we could only assume it could be anywhere around 75% to 25% split, or 70 to 30% split, 65 to 35, 60 to 40, or even it could be 45 to 55% split in favor of Shakur. We don't know. It all depends on how much Shakur is worth compared to Devin Haney. Therefore, if Shakur doesn't like the fact that Devin Haney is the A-side, that's a different story, because that would mean he just doesn't want the fight. After all, Devin, with or without the belts, is the A-side. Devin is more popular. He has more followers. He makes more money than Shakur. He also has a better resume than Shakur. And he's younger. These are all facts. Additionally, on top of all of that, Devin Haney is the undisputed champion, the youngest undisputed champion in the history of the sport in the 4 belts era. He already has Lomachenko on his resume. He already has Kambosos twice on his resume, so on and so forth. Therefore, this is not up for debate who is the A-side. You know, the irony of it all. Everyone wants to be Floyd Mayweather. However, they don't want to go through that pretty boy stage where he made all of the sacrifices in order to get to the Money Mayweather stage. But this is what Devin Haney did. Devin, he took the B-side money against Kambosos, even though Devin was a 4-5 defending WBC champion. And he was more popular than Kambosos. On top of the fact Devin was making more money than Kambosos. However, even then, he took the risk and the sacrifice in order to put himself in position and accepted whatever deal Kambosos gave him, such as less money to fight Kambosos in Australia twice. Not once, but twice. Devin made more money when he fought Linares and Jojo Diaz compared to when he fought Kambosos the first time. But he took that pay cut because he saw the bigger picture. The bigger picture is that was going to put him in position to be the A-side from that point forward. So when you compare Devin to Shakur at the moment in time, Shakur is not really bringing anything to the table. He's not bringing any belt to the table. Devin is more popular. Devin is bringing more money. Devin is selling more tickets. He sold 15,000 tickets his last fight. Devin has a better resume. He just fought Lomachenko, Kambosos, Jojo Diaz, Linares, so on and so forth. So this is not up for debate. It's a take it or leave it type of deal for Shakur. I mean, Shakur said he's going to smoke Devin. So if Shakur truly believes he's going to smoke Devin to become undisputed, What's stopping him from doing so? Why does Shakur want more money than he's actually worth in order to accomplish his goal and dream of becoming undisputed? After all, people lie, men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie. And numbers say Shakur is worth so-and-so. But Shakur wants more money, more percentage than he's actually worth in order to fight Devin Haney for undisputed. To make matters worse, Shakur doesn't even really know what the percentage is because he doesn't even want to find out since he hasn't activated his mandatory. Which, like I said before, if the money is the problem, why not activate the mandatory in order to find out what the percentage is? Additionally, in order to leverage more money from Top Rank and ESPN. That's common sense. If you truly want to fight and make more money, right? You could only make what you negotiate. After all, Shakur did this with Jamal Herring. When he activated his mandatory, the fight didn't go to purse bid, despite the fact that Shakur was getting a 63% split while Jamal Herring was getting a 37% split. Even then, they came to an agreement, both Jamal Herring and Shakur, because Top Rank offered them really good money since they did not want to lose the fight. So, step one to negotiating is to leverage your position, which for Shakur Stevenson case by activating his mandatory position. And clearly Shakur hasn't done step one yet. So how can he be asking for a bigger percentage? How can he want more money if he's not doing his due diligence in order to make more money? That's business 101. You can't expect Devin to give you money. You got to negotiate your own position. One thing for sure, we haven't seen Devin Haney complain about the money or the split. We haven't seen Devin tell Shakur sign a contract just to find out there is no contract. We haven't seen Devin not activate his mandatory position because he clearly did with Lomachenko and forced Loma to get stripped of his belt. Devin didn't say, I'm worried about my split with Lomachenko. Absolutely not. Devin didn't care about all of that because he wanted the fight. Which this is showing that Shakur doesn't really want the Devin Haney fight. And this is why Devin Haney earned the name, the A-class boogeyman in the sport of boxing. I mean, to have Shakur backtracking instead of going forward with his goal and everything he said he was going to do, that's a great look on Devin Haney and a bad look on Shakur. Either or. We shall see what they are going to do next, if Shakur is going to activate the mandatory or if he's going to turn down the fight and move on until the fight is worth more in his eyes. Because despite the fact that Shakur said he's going to smoke Devin, he clearly believes the money is not worth the risk to fight Devin, even though undisputed is on the line. Shakur still views Devin as a bigger threat than undisputed, which means despite what Shakur says, his action says that he views Devin Haney as his biggest threat, his most difficult rival, which is why he's saving him for last, along with Ryan, Gervonta, and Teofimo Lopez. They all feel the same way. Ryan, he did not activate his mandatory, just like Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta did not activate their mandatory today. But Ryan, he went as far as saying Devin is the most difficult out of the bunch. That's why I'm saving him for last. Ryan was very honest about fighting Devin Haney because he recognizes Devin Haney as the biggest threat. With the facts being laid out, drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe below. And to be continued on the next episode of Akhi TV. Peace out.
Let's just say that Haney wins the fight against Loma, and let's say Tank wins his fight against Ryan Garcia. Which side would you rather go? If he fights Devin and he wins all of the belts. If he fights Tank and he beats him, he doesn't win any of the belts, but his star power goes through the roof, man. Which one is, I guess, more appealing?
I mean, it don't really matter with us. You know, I think both of those guys are just about equally as special. So, you know what I mean? Our stock rises, you know, being victorious with either one. So,
Do you think your stock would rise the same amount if you fought a Devin as opposed to actually beating Tank?
yeah, I don't think it's that big of a difference. I mean, we just look forward to it, man.
I gotta ask you, why exactly do you think it's not really that big of a difference? Tank is arguably top 2 biggest stars in the game right now, top 2 or 3.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that about Tank, and you can also say Devin got all those belts. You know what I mean? It's like 6 1/2 a dozen. So, you know, but we all have our own opinions.